Hi, we're Rafalana D. Mikas with the forecast for July 2025. So if you don't have your calendar, you can still get one at planetarycalendar.com. And of course, you're watching this on YouTube. So if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that bell and subscribe, and you'll get notifications every time we post something. So now we're going to be looking at the week of July the 6th through the 12th.
Yes. Now, the week starts off kind of mildly with that on the Sunday, the 6th, you have nice aspects going on between the planets, between the moon. The moon's going to be in the sign of the Eagle, aka Scorpio, most of the day. It's going to go into Sagittarius later in the day. It's a very pleasant day. The big thing that happens is the next day, on the Tuesday, the 7th. You see there's a letter E there. What do we actually say? Remember, we write these forecasts like 18 months before. Boom! Uranus enters Gemini, the sign it was in when the USA was founded, adding to the excitement.
So, a Uranus return after all.
Sizzle in politics this year. Okay, this is a big thing. Every time Uranus has been in Gemini, just so you know, the United States has been at war. It was the American Revolutionary War. 84 years later was the Civil War. 84 years later was the Second World War.
Aren't you little Mr. Sunshine? But this is how we look at things in order to forecast for the future, because we look at what happened the last time that planet was in that sign. But, of course, all the other planets are in different signs. So,
yes,
it's still a free will universe, and we can work towards whatever goal we have and put together the group consciousness.
Remember, in the last few years, we had a Pluto return, too.
Exactly.
So we had the Pluto return, and then we're having the Uranus return. So, the United States has had a tumultuous number of years here.
But on that day, we have a Venus trine Pluto, and we have Mercury trine the moon.
So on a personal level, it'll be very nice. Socially, it'll be a little wacky. It's interesting. On the day in which Uranus went into Gemini, just before the Second World War, was the day practically within one day of when women officially became part of the American military.
Oh, right.
After serving since the American Revolution, So.
Well, and then we have that Mars square. So be careful with impulse control and, do before you think kind of actions. We always warn against the red lights and hitting your head or something when you've got a square to the moon. It could also just be emotional challenges.
It could also be physical work. Mars is in the sign of the goddess, aka Virgo, so it's squaring the moon in Sagittarius. So enthusiasm. So watch out being overly enthusiastic at work.
Well, and not to be outdone by week 1. Week 2 has that extreme void of course on the 8th. Yes. And it has nothing else there that you can grab onto. In other words, if there was any kind of an aspect challenging or beneficial, you could at least grab onto that energy as a tool to help you through that void of course day. Not so much with this day. Now, of course, we do often remind you that some of the ancients believed that the void of course was not active if the moon was in the sign of either the sign or rulership of the moon or Jupiter. So this is a Jupiter ruled sign, Saturn or Sagittarius, where the moon is. So that may, cross your fingers, mitigate that void of course moon, especially for people who are sensitive to void of course.
Now, on the Wednesday and the 9th, there's a G there because it's a black box day. Realize this is going to be a bit of a challenging day that people will expect a lot from you. People are going to everyone's going to look at everybody else and saying, are you doing enough? So kind of be prepared for that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And all those squares and oppositions, it's a pretty hefty day. I mean, Capricorn moon, usually you get a lot done. It changes into Capricorn early in the morning, so it's a full day of Capricorn moon.
Right.
But don't expect the road to be smooth.
And then on the 10th, is on the full moon, this 18 degrees of Capricorn and the crab. When you feel challenged, focus on the things you can control, okay? It's going to be the little things where you see progress. Look for where this is taking place in your chart, because those areas will require some emotional discipline. That's the thing about the Capricorn moon. It's very emotionally disciplined.
That's true.
Yes, so much. And then on the Friday, it's all nice lunar aspects in the course of the day. The moon's going to be in the sign of Aquarius all day. Very social day, a lot of lunar aspects, all positive. Make sure, go out to lunch on that Friday, see your friends, connect with people. Don't hide away.
The void, of course, is over early in the morning, having started midday the day before, so that might be a little bump in the road, but I think you're preparing for that with the full moon anyway, so.
Yeah. And the 12th, that Saturday is a big one again. Saturn's turning retrograde at 1 degree Aries, a point with tremendous leverage, so expect some cultural shifts. Remember, Neptune just went retrograde, and they've been running like hand in hand at the beginning of Aries. The Aries point is a very powerful spot. It's got a tremendous amount of leverage in the chart. The first degree of Aries, first degree of the Crab, first degree of Libra, first degree of Capricorn. Those are, they call them these Aries points. They have a lot of leverage. When you have things happening there, there's big shifts. And we have these two major planets there, and now they're going retrograde there.
Well, and Saturn and Neptune don't seem like likely energies to intermingle very well because they're so sort of opposite in their function. But if you can use the inspiration of Neptune to further your goals in a new way, you can maybe marry those two energies and make the use of the exuberance of Aries.
Yes. Now, also be aware that on that day, on the Saturday, there's a void, of course, that starts at 12:44 p.m. It's going to extend all the way until late afternoon on Sunday. So just be forewarned about that. So, and it's going to go from in Aquarius. And Aquarius is not the most focused sign. It's really about the group. So that particular void, of course, could be especially
disruptive,
flighty.
Well, that's true.
So
that's true.
So that's pretty much it for that week, and let's see what's going to happen next week.
So if you still need a 2025 calendar, we have a few left, but really what's going like hotcakes are the 2026s. We hope to be delivering them by now, and pre-orders get a free digital calendar.
Yes.
So come see us at planetarycalendar.com, and you're already on our YouTube channel, Planetary Calendar Astrology. Send your friends over. Hit that subscribe button.
Yes.
Hit the bell.
Yes.
Thanks for coming.
See you next month.